Jets Ward.
Jets, Jets. What is going on, Jet fans? And welcome back to another episode of the Jets Ward. I'm your host, Ryan Ward, and I'm so excited to be with you guys. I got a fun one for you. But first, if you have been here before, welcome back. You know I love having you guys here. It is a great place to be because you guys keep coming back for more. And if you are new here, welcome. Whether you're a Jets fan of another NFL team, or just a casual NFL fan, you are always welcome here. It is a safe place for you. Now, guys, the Super Bowl is upon us, but as we know as Jets fans, we're just going to have to be on the outside looking in. Jets going through another coaching search. We have Aaron Glenn as our head coach. He's going to be calling the defensive plays. We've gotten a defensive coordinator in Brian Duker, but we know Aaron Glenn is going to be the one calling the plays, like I just said. We finally got our offensive coordinator in Frank Reich, and we hired a defensive line coach, Carl Dunbar, who was with the Jets under the Rex Ryan regime. So it's great to have him back. But we still have a ton of coaching positions open still. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about in this one is 9 possible coaches that the Jets should really consider bringing in. Some of them we talked about why they would make sense. Some of them are ones that I think could really fit and might have a connection to Brian Duker or to Aaron Glenn or Frank Reich in general, and some might be young guys who are really looking for that next shot to get promoted, and the Jets could be their chance. So I'm going to go through the ones that we've already really talked about already that have been out in the news. And the first one we're going to talk about is Greg Roman. Greg Roman interviewed for the Jets offensive coordinator job. And from what I heard, he did very, very well. But we knew Frank Reich was going to be our guy. Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator of the Chargers last year. The Chargers offense was middle of the pack. Their running game was one of the better ones in the league, but they just couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs to get that victory. Now, he's 53 years old. Not looking like he's going to get an offensive coordinator position, but one thing that he dominates in is the run game, designing run fits, and everything like that. The guy just knows how to get his running backs the ball and get them open so that they can score tons of touchdowns and get tons of yards. Greg Roman, I think, as a run game coordinator, would be an ideal fit. I think it would show what his strengths are and could catapult him into another offensive coordinator position later down the road. But he's dominant when it comes to the run game. And Frank Reich, if he's very smart and the type of coach that I think he is, he'd bring in another veteran option to come in and solidify this offense. The Jets have a decent running back core. If we re-sign Brees, extend him, that would be something great. He's one of the top running backs in the league, in my opinion. Just doesn't get to show it that often. Had a 1,000-yard rushing season this past year, his first one of his young career. Greg Roman, I think if he comes in as our running game coordinator, I think Brees would really, really like that. He would know that he's going to be getting a lot of open holes and everything, and a lot of really good creative run designs. So Greg Roman, run game coordinator, I think fits perfectly for this coaching staff. And Aaron Glenn needs to bring all the veteran coaches in to try to save his job. He needs to turn this thing around really quickly. He's on the hot seat. So any coaches he can bring in, I think the Jets need to do it. Aaron Glenn needs to do it. And if Frank Reich wants this guy, bring him in. And there's probably conversations about it already happening. So the next guy, and it's another one that we've talked about, Darrell Bevell. So Bevell, he's been around the league for years. He was another one that was brought in as our offensive coordinator position. Honestly, I don't think he's going to get an offensive coordinator position anytime soon, but the work he's done with quarterbacks and just creating pass plays and the design of the pass plays, pass formations, I think he works really well in. Now, do I want him to be our quarterback coach? No. I'd rather him just focus on the pass game coordinator position. He's 56 years old. He's called plays before. He knows what things should look like. I think another coach that has veteran experience and who can come in and help this offensive staff out a ton. Bring him in as our pass game coordinator, and let's get some fun out of this offense. I think it could be very, very exciting to have these two coaches added to Frank Reich's offensive staff. Okay, so Darrell Bevell, another one that could be very fun if the Jets considered bringing him in, whether it be a quarterback coach or a pass game coordinator. I think he's better fit for a pass game coordinator, but we will see what happens. The next one that I got for us is, again, a guy who just left the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the, if not the best offensive line coach in history, somebody who's had that offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles running and dominating and just working very, very well. Even Mailata, for the tackle for the Eagles, was very upset and shocked when he saw that Stoutland was gone. Now, Stoutland is very high regarded. He's probably going to go to a coaching staff that is on the verge of championships or just needs to get over that hump, who has a position opening for them, like a championship caliber team. But if I were the Jets, I would do anything I can to try to get him in here as our offensive line coach. Now, I love Steve Heiden. I think he did great things with the offensive line that last year. Tippmann took major steps forward. Armand Membu looked solid. Olu Fashanu looked great as well. But Stoutland is one of the most decorated offensive line coaches in the NFL history. And bringing this guy, this caliber of player or coach in, I think could make that offensive line for the Jets 10, 20 times better. Now, what does that mean? Am I going to fire Steve Heiden? No. What I'm actually going to do, and I think he'd be up for it, I'd hope he'd be up for it, is I'd move him to tight ends coach, what he did for Detroit, where he was very solid in getting the best out of the tight ends over there. Laporta was great at blocking and everything that he does over there, running routes. Blocking was one of the things that he dominated in, and that was because of Steve Heiden. Heiden did a great job with the tight ends over in Detroit, and having that experience, he used it to catapult this offensive line as well. But if you bump him to what he did last year to the tight ends, I think it could help out Mason Taylor a lot more. I think it could help out why can't I think of his name? Jeremy Ruckert a ton more. And whoever else we bring in, whether it's Isaiah Likely or Kyle Pitts, or if we draft a guy, or if we bring back one of our guys like a Stone Smart or someone like that. But I think that could be a very, very solid move. I think that's something Frank Reich would want to do for this coaching staff. And I don't think Steve Heiden would be all that upset because it's another position that he's coached before and has succeeded in it. So I think that would be a great move if he were up for it to do that. That's the big question. Would he be willing to move over to allow this legend of an offensive line coach in? Next, we got Parks Frazier, pass game coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles this past year. But I would bring him in as our quarterbacks coach. He has worked under Frank Reich when he was in Philadelphia, when he was in Indianapolis. That's when I really believe he got his first crack at working with Frank Reich, and over in Carolina as well. The guy has worked up the ranks. He's worked with some really good quarterbacks. The year that Carson Wentz threw for 20 plus touchdown passes, I believe it was 28 touchdown passes when he was with the Indianapolis Colts, Parks Frazier was there. He was the one working with him, creating the pass plays, working with the quarterbacks. I think bringing him in to develop a young quarterback or even work with veteran quarterbacks and possibly a rookie that we might draft this year or next year, I think that could be very, very great for the New York Jets, bringing in a younger coach that has been doing it for a long, long time and somebody that's Frank Reich really trusts as well. I think he'd be someone great to pull from the Eagles over to the New York Jets and help out with this quarterback room that We don't know who's going to be the quarterback, but whoever it is, I think Parks Frazier could do something really, really well and work with these guys and help develop them as well. Continuing on, I got Ben Bowlen. We've interviewed him for the linebacker position. He is a young coach that has been rising up the ranks. He's the Texans defense or assistant linebackers coach. I think he's deserving of the full-on linebackers coach. From what we've seen from the Texans defense and that linebacker core, Al-Shaair has been fantastic with them, and it's been great work from Bowling working with him, and just in general, all of the linebackers over there have played very, very well and are very, very consistent. And Bowling has a big reason for that. I think bringing him over and giving him that crack on the defense, that he's only 32 years old, again, a rising coach in this league, somebody who we've already interviewed, I think deserves the job. I think it would be a smart move to bring this guy in as our linebackers coach, somebody who is just showing that he's ready for the position. Continuing on, I got Deuce Staley, another coach who has worked with Frank Reich before when it was in Philadelphia, Carolina. He was in Detroit for a little while. Deuce Staley played running back and was very successful in the NFL for years. And he's been a solid running back coach. I know the Jets currently have a running back coach, but I think Frank Reich is going to want to change the system to the people he trusts. Deuce Staley is one of them. And I'm confident Deuce Staley would follow Frank Reich over here. The last time I saw him, he was coaching with Cleveland. And now Cleveland has a new offensive coordinator, new staff, changes coming. In 2014, I believe he was there. Bring him back here. Bring him to the Jets. I think that would be great. And Breece Hall would be able to learn from somebody who has done it and been successful in this league, like Deuce Staley. I don't think it can get any better than that. 50 years old, got a lot of coaching experience, someone who's very, very solid. I would love to bring Deuce Staley in for the running backs coach. Then we continue on. We get to some of our defensive assistants. And as a defensive assistant DBs coach, I'm bringing in Corey Robinson. It's a guy who's has been in the league, coached in college, coached in the NFL, has been very successful with just teaching young cornerbacks and safeties, working with them, helping them out, getting them to where they need to be. He's somebody who's been on the NFL's radar for a while now, has been doing this for a long, long time, and only 39 years old. And he's been coaching for over 10 years now. Somebody who I think is ready to bring his stuff to the NFL and ready to help out this young DB room that the New York Jets have. I know we still have Chris Harris. Chris Harris is probably going to stay on AG's staff, but bringing Corey Robinson in as an assistant, I think could be very, very influential for these young guys. And they'd be able to get that teaching and processing from a guy who has been touted as one of the better teachers of the position in college circles and NFL circles. So Corey Robinson, bringing him in as assistant DB coach would be something that I would be doing right now as well. And then lastly, the other guy, Addison Lynch, just got fired from the Denver Broncos. That defense is solid over there, but he and other slew of coaches over there did end up getting fired. Addison Lynch, I think, is somebody who could be a great assistant over here, bring some knowledge, bring what he saw from the Denver Broncos. Muji was there when this guy was there, so there's a little connection there. I think bringing him over just to get some extra vet help in here and extra work in, I think could be very, very good for Aaron Glenn and this defensive staff. He's only 36 years old. Somebody I would bring in toughness, grittiness. I think he's a good teacher for players as well. Guy who's very consistent. I would bring him in a heartbeat as well to add to this coaching staff. Now, we know these coaches are going to be starting to come in. The interviews we already know are going in. Most of the time we don't know until the last minute who the Jets hire. But honestly, these are the 9 coaches that I think if the Jets brought onto their staff, offense and defensive staff, I would be very excited for. We have a slew of veterans that can add a lot to the offense and defense, and some young up and coming coaches that I think AG could groom to get better positions down the road, more defensive coordinator positions down the road. But they got to start somewhere, and I think the Jets are a place to give them that opportunity. I know AG is fighting for his life here, but these young coaches can bring some new energy, new ideas that could really help out this defense. And they're coming from Broncos defense, Texans defense, teams that have been very, very successful. So these were just my ideas. Let me know what you guys think. Are there any coaches you would like to bring in to fill these positions? I'm all ears. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me out. And hit that bell for any notifications of when I post videos, just so you can stay updated of what's going on in the Jets ward. And follow me on X, Instagram, and on TikTok as well. I try to post all my videos and shorts there. I haven't been doing too much on TikTok lately, mostly Instagram and X. I'm going to try to get back into TikTok very soon. But guys, I appreciate you. I love you. And thank you so much for joining me in the JETS Jets Ward. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
The Jets Ward.